Until recently, access to Burma had been severely restricted, meaning much of the country remained hidden and isolated from the outside world. But one man who's documented the landscape perhaps more than most is a New York State-based physics lecturer, novelist and filmmaker Robert Lieberman. Starting in 2008 and operating initially under the auspices of a US State Department-sponsored teaching scholarship, he shot extensive video of the country. The result? A distillation, a 90-minute documentary. The striking beauty of the country, the people, the decayed infrastructure, the extreme poverty, archival footage, an interview with pro-democracy leader Aung San Suu Kyi. Robert Lieberman has put together a collage of voices, sounds and images in this 88-minute documentary.
We want to raise Burma in the consciousness of the West, essentially. This is a novelist's eye view of Burma. I'm a novelist and a teacher, and I just wanted to show you the country.
He shot the film on 5 separate visits to Burma from 2008 onwards. Because of restrictions imposed by the Burmese authorities, he was unable in many cases to film openly. Many of the people Robert Lieberman interviewed were fearful of appearing on camera. We hear just their voices, or their faces are obscured.
You cannot shoot without permission.
What happens if they find out?
Yeah, they will take your camera away.
Yeah. So I shot with a very small camera, and you weren't allowed to shoot, and I got into trouble repeatedly, as you'll see in the movie, but I managed to always sort of squirm my way out of it. Are you 14?
Yeah, 14.
And how old is he? He looks very young.
Also 14.
14?
Yeah.
One of the many troubling aspects of modern Burma that the filmmaker came across was the country's reliance on child labour.
I was driving with somebody, and I went past this quarry, and I said, stop, because I saw from a distance these children working, and they were little girls. I don't know how old, 10, 11 years old, and on their heads they had baskets of crushed rock, and those baskets must have weighed, 60, 70 pounds.
The harshness of life comes across, but so does the magic of the landscape. Gathering all the material for the documentary, on camera as well as audio-only interviews, was a mammoth undertaking. Deborah C. Hord is the film's producer, and she confirms there was masses of raw material.
I'm going to put it at 200 hours, because there's also a lot of footage that's just voiceover type footage. I mean, he interviewed people by shooting their feet, for example, you saw, or photographing their feet, I should say.
The people are very soft-spoken. They're devout Buddhists.
The end result is an odd mix, a film that is part travelogue, part home video, part history lesson, and part political critique. In America, it's been playing at some places to sold-out crowds in a gradual release. Reactions vary. Some really like the work.
Really informative, really powerful, evoked a lot of feelings too.
Others think the film has limitations.
He went very, very wide, and I think the sacrifice you make, the trade-off is when you go very wide, you can't go very deep.
One criticism levelled at the film is that it's lost some of its relevance because it's been overtaken by events. It's showing Burma as a closed, fearful, oppressive state, when in reality conditions appear to have eased in recent months.
I think that the political changes and the evidence of loosening of the grip in Burma and the influx of potential Western tourists there make our film all the more important right now. It makes it more timely.
This small country is such a diverse country.
Whatever people think of this film, it is quite clearly a labour of love from a dedicated physics lecturer, novelist and filmmaker who appears to be totally fascinated by the country he's so extensively documented.